posture. Hold your follow through. Hold it, and now you can look. Good. Hold it, hold it. Don't look up too early. I got up in there a little bit. All right, now go ahead and, good. Keep your weight on your left foot. Keep your weight on your left foot. Get a couple different kinds of shots to illustrate something. Now, I turned and looked, but I did not, but I turned like this. Here I didn't turn at all. My follow through's right there. You've got to make sure that whatever distance this is to the ground doesn't change. So I like you hit some balls now where your eyes are staying on the grass. I'm going to stay left all the way through. I can literally feel like a one-legged golfer. But I'm gonna really concentrate on not looking. I'm gonna come to a complete stop before I look, just like we did on the putting. That's a very good setup right there. Hold it.
I flicked.
What you did was really good. You hit the ground on it. You got that under the ball. You didn't blade it. That ball got up in the air. That was hit extremely well. The reason you did it better that time than the others is on that one you didn't lift. You felt this angle in your back and you kept it there. So you need to, when you tilt over and you're hovering over that golf ball, it's important that you keep that angle there and not lift up this way with your swing. Let's get that set up where you've got that weight slightly forward, not extreme, but just slightly, and the hands forward. That looks really good, Bobbie. Getting a little sunshine now. I like that. Good one. First thing we're going to look at, Bobbie, is your chipping technique. On the left was the video I took before we began making some adjustments to your setup, and on the right is the adjustments we've made after the setup. One of the things I talked about was the importance of getting more weight on your left side than your right side. And on the left-hand picture, this was before we did the swing, and you had a tendency to just be evenly balanced and distribute your weight evenly on both feet. And the picture on the right is where you did make an adjustment and you put a little bit more weight on your left side. That's very good. You can see from the red line how after you made the change, you've got a lot more weight on that left side than you do your right side. So that's excellent. The second thing we talked about was the importance of getting your hands in front of the golf ball so that the low point of your swing would also be in front of the golf ball. And you can see that on the right how you have made a good positive change. You've got more shaft lean towards the target. You have your hands in front of the golf ball. That's going to promote that downward hit into the ball. So that's excellent setup right there. The new setup also does one other positive thing. It allows you to have a constant radius of your golf circle. The length of your arm and the shaft becomes the radius of your golf circle, and you set up with a fairly straight left arm that was in the same line as the shaft of the club. And so as you swing the club, the radius isn't going to change, and therefore you'll be able to make contact with the ground the same way each time. Before that, you had a little bit more bend in your left elbow, and you had the hands back, so you had quite a bit of angles here that would be hard to repeat and control as you try to swing at the ball. And that would cause you sometimes to hit behind it or top the ball when you have that many angles in the setup. So now you have a very solid and constant radius, which will make you much more consistent at striking the ball solid. Okay, Bobbie, now we're going to look at your full swing with the iron. On the left is your setup and swing before we made any adjustments. And on the right is after we had talked about some things and we made some adjustments. You can see a pretty big dramatic difference here. On the left, your weight is pretty much evenly balanced. In fact, you have a little bit more weight on toward your right side than you do your left side. But after we made some changes and we talked about the importance of keeping your low point in front of the golf ball and putting your weight on the left foot at the setup, I've got this red box drawn from the center of both ankles. And you can see on the left, before we started adjusting, you had a tendency to sit back on that back foot, and that puts your low point behind the golf ball. Even the shaft of your club is tilted away from the target. Whereas after we made some changes, you had your hands in front of the golf ball and you put in that low point in front of the golf ball. So that new setup allowed you to create a golf circle where you would be striking the ball on the downswing. What you want to be doing is hitting the ball on the downswing and not level, and certainly not upward. And you had a tendency to do that. The other thing we did at the setup is we moved the ball back in your stance. You had a tendency to have that ball too close to your left foot, and we moved it back so it was more in the middle of your stance. This made it easier to get your hands in front of that golf ball and promote hitting down into the golf ball. Here I've freezed the frame right before impact, and I've drawn a red line up from the golf ball. And you can see on the left how you are still hanging back on that back leg, and all your weight is behind the golf ball. The low point is behind the golf ball, and your hands are behind the golf ball. On the right before impact, you have more weight on the left side, more weight in front of the golf ball, and your hands in front of the golf ball. So you're getting ready to be able to strike down into the golf ball on the right. So you're getting ready to hit down into this golf ball and bump the ground a little bit. On this one, you're going to come through a little bit more level and won't hit the ground at all. Now I'm going to move your swing through the ball. On the left, you can see how as you come through, your club is not hitting the ground, it's just picking the ball and hitting the very bottom of the club. And on the right, you can see how you can even see the dirt as you hit it, as you hit down into it. And that's going to give you a lot cleaner hit, more consistently. You're going to get the ball's going to hit higher up on the face, closer to the sweet spot when you're hitting down like that. Whereas otherwise you'd be hitting the very bottom of the club and not getting the ball to respond off the face of the club with more ball speed. All of the energy of your golf swing is going to transfer to the golf ball, and you can get maximum transfer of that energy if you can hit it on the sweet spot, and therefore the ball would come off faster and go further. The most important position is the position of impact. The golf ball is only going to respond to the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. And so having a good impact position is critical to having good golf shots. And so by moving your weight a little bit more to the left, setting the ball a little bit further to the middle of your stance so that you can hit down into the golf ball, have your hands in front of the ball at impact, have a little bit more weight on your left side at impact, then you will slowly start to see some improvement in consistency of hitting the ball solid. So as you go forward and work on your swing, when it comes to your iron play, both in chipping and full swings, try to set just a little more weight on that left side and get your hand set in front of the ball so you have a shaft lean.